Consulting can be delivered through anything from one-off one-on-one calls to monthly retainers to fully built out packages with structured deliverables. As long as some of your audience shares a problem they're willing to pay to solve, you can offer consulting. A travel channel can consult on travel plans, a home improvement channel can consult on planned home improvements, a productivity channel can consult on ways to procrastinate less and live a more optimized life. However, not every channel will lend itself well to having a consulting offer. And more importantly, not everyone is a fit for being a consultant. Take me, for instance. YouTube strategy channel. I have an audience that shares a problem they're willing to pay to solve. I literally get DMs all the time asking for one-on-one support. So consulting would be a no-brainer, right? Well, not exactly. Yes, logically it would make sense for a channel like mine to offer consulting, and I have done it in the past. But unfortunately, it's just not something that I enjoy doing. You see, from the outside, consulting can look deceptively simple. In its most basic form, it's just being paid for an hour of your time, right? But in practice, there's a lot more to it than that. There's the initial back and forth with the client to make sure they're the right fit. Then on the day of the call, there's prep work I do to feel prepared for the call. If the call's later in the day, there's the mental stress of knowing that I have an important call coming up, which grows in intensity the closer I am to the call. And then afterwards, I need at least an hour to decompress after the call, because showing up at 100% for a full hour really takes a lot out of me. When you start to add up all of those little extra costs, your effective hourly rate starts to drop. At this point, I have to charge very high rates in order to make one-on-one consulting worth my time, which then ends up adding even more stress because I want to make sure that my client gets their money's worth. That being said, different people have different experiences. One of the huge upsides of consulting is that you really don't need to bring in a ton of views in order to make a pretty decent income. Let's say you offer a consulting package priced at $1,000 a month. If you post 4 videos a month and each video brings in 500 views and just 0.5% of your viewers convert to clients, you're making $10,000 a month. And you can do that before you even get monetized through YouTube AdSense. Ultimately, the only way to know if consulting is a good fit for you is to try it out for yourself. And if you decide to do so, here's how I'd start. First, get to know your audience. Ask them questions, see if they have any problems that they tend to share. If you start seeing some similarities, develop a mini test offer, something that would be really easy for you to execute, like a one-off call. Then mention your test offer in the PS of one of your email newsletters. See, your email list matters. Price it relatively low the first time around. The main goal is to just see if there's any demand. If someone's interested, deliver your mini offer, grab a testimonial from them, build your offer out a little bit more, increase your price, and then repeat. If no one's interested, there's something wrong with either your understanding of your audience's problems, your understanding of the solutions they want, or your price. Continue to pitch more mini test offers until you find your fit. The one thing I'd avoid doing when trying out consulting is overcommitting yourself from the very get-go. You want to build in set end dates or off-ramps for yourself. So if you're going through it and you realize that it's actually way more work than you thought it would be, or you don't actually like it as much as you thought that you would, or you're actually way undercharging, you have the opportunity to get out without burning any bridges. On my side, last year I actually didn't end up publicly offering any one-on-one consulting. I did bundle some one-on-one sessions into a larger offer that I'll talk about later on in this video, but apart from that, the only real consulting I did was for a referral from a friend, which ended up bringing me $4,500 last year. So consulting wasn't a main driver of income for me last year, but don't let that deter you. Some people I know have built massive consulting businesses using their YouTube channel as the foundation. However, your consulting revenue can only scale with how much time you have available. So if you're not into live calls, or you're looking for something with the ability to scale far beyond an hourly rate, you might be interested in income stream number 6, online courses. Now, online courses are tricky. They don't have the best reputation in the world, and yet if you're in any sort of educational niche, you've probably been asked at least once before,
why don't you just start a course?
So what's the deal with courses? Well, for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about self-paced courses, which is a collection of lessons, typically video lessons, sometimes paired with worksheets or templates, that aim to guide a student through a specific transformation. They're usually sold for a one-time price, and after purchasing the course, the student can move through it at their own pace, without any live interaction required. And on paper, having a course sounds incredible. It seems to be the epitome of make once, sell forever. All you have to do is put together a few video lessons, package it up nicely, slap a price on it, mention it in a few YouTube videos, and then just sit back and watch the dollars roll in. No live commitments, no limit to how many sales you can bring in. You can make money while you sleep. And that's exactly why online courses have such a bad reputation. Because when something sounds that good, that simple, it attracts a lot of people who are much more interested in the idea of selling a course than the concept of actually building out a great learning experience. As a result, the majority of courses out there are low quality, rushed, and just generally disappointing, which in turn gives the overall category of online courses a bad rap. On top of that, having a course isn't actually as simple as it seems. You can put in an enormous amount of time and energy into creating a genuinely useful, high-quality course, only to launch it and get crickets. No traffic, no sales, and no payoff for the extraordinary amount of effort that you put in. Ultimately, in order for an online course to be done well, it needs to follow 4 main phases. Phase 1 is conceptualization and validation, which is the single biggest thing that you can do to avoid the dreaded post-launch silence. Before you start working on any actual lessons, get in touch with your audience first to make sure that this is something that they actually want. You could do this by sending out a simple interest form, but the surest way to verify that real demand exists for your course is to run a pre-sales campaign. Soft launch your closest fans first by sending out an email newsletter with details of what you're planning, an estimated launch date, and a way to collect payment on a significantly discounted price. If not even your closest fans are buying at a discounted rate, it's highly unlikely that your broader audience will buy at a higher rate. And you should go back to the drawing board now before you invest any more time and energy into building something out that no one actually wants. If you do receive interest, you can move on to phase 2, course development. Please don't rush this. You don't need to be a world-class educator, but your students should feel like what they've learned is more than worth the investment that they put in. Promise a specific learning outcome to help set expectations, and then over-deliver on that learning outcome. Don't promise anything you can't guarantee. After you've built out your course, that's when your work shifts to marketing your course. At this point, you would have already done your pre-sales, so you can launch to your early access buyers first. See what their experience is, and if they're liking it, you can launch to your broader audience through more emails, community posts, and YouTube videos.